Hi, and welcome to that time of the week when the stars come out to play and waffle away to the main man, the top banana, the big kahuna, the waffle meister himself, Mr. Steve Blacknell.
Yes, indeed, I'm Steve Blacknell. Welcome to the Waffle Show, a brand new show. Yes, indeed, where I talk to three people infinitely more interesting than me, and that's not too difficult, I can tell you. Later on, I'll be talking to the drummer as they call him, a man who was the engine room, part of it anyway, but with all those hits in the 60s and 70s. He is Mr. Clem Cattini. Now, a man also who took the fee but not the credit, and he's worked with everyone, Tina Turner, Marvin Gaye, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, you name it, and a few James Bond films along the way. He is Ray Russell. But now to a man, on April the 15th, 1939, the world gave birth to Reginald Smith. And by the time 1958 came along, he'd had his first hit as Marty Wilde. And he still is Marty Wilde. Hello, Marty Wilde.
Hi, Steve.
Hi there, mate. So that was, when did you first learn? I think it was Larry Parnes or someone like that. When did you first learn you were going to be Marty Wilde? Were you shocked?
Yeah, there was an argument about it, and I wanted Reg Patterson. Reg was my first real name, and Patterson Floyd Patterson was the heavyweight boxing champion of the world at the time.
Yeah.
And I wanted Reg Patterson. He wanted Marty Wilde. So anyway, he said, we'll toss a coin for it. And he said, you're a gambling man. And he won both times. I'm glad he did, because it had been about a couple of months later, 3 months, 4 months into me signing with him, I passed a sign on the wall, a bill on the wall that was advertising a future show. And my name was on it, Marty Wilde. And I thought, oh, wow, it looks pretty good. So I thought, well, thank God I didn't keep Reg Patterson. It wouldn't have worked out.
Not really, yeah.
It was a bit like Elton John and Cliff. They both had the same problem with names.
Yeah, another Reg. So, of course, your career under Marty Wilde, I think the first single didn't do too well. Was that Honeycomb, I think? Something like that, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was a boring song as well. I mean, it bored me. Yes, yeah, it did. Yeah.
But of course, Endless Sleep came along, and that was a big hit. So Marty Wilde was born, really, then.
Yeah, Endless Sleep was kind of track I was looking for. It was very difficult in those days. To get the musicians to play rock and roll, it was almost impossible. I've said it many times. So when you had a hit record with British musicians in those early days, it was potluck, because most of them were jazz musicians. They were brilliant jazz musicians, but they hadn't a clue about rock and roll really at all. They just knew that they had to play an offbeat. And I remember I had an argument with Phil Seamans, who was one of the finest drummers this country had produced. And that was on the recording of Endless Sleep. And I said, excuse me, Phil, I said, would you play with sticks and not brushes? And he sort of just looked at me, murmured something, and I went away. And thank God he was right, And he said afterwards, Marty Wilde doesn't know a crotchet from a hatchet, which I thought, well, okay, so I'll buy that.
But how much was the glimpse of Elvis to you? Did that really kick something in your brain about the way to go?
Yeah, he was a blueprint, wasn't he? I mean, he was the blueprint for everyone, really. Anyone who wanted to be a rock and roll singer, seemingly like him or apparently like him. If you felt you were like him, you just changed your haircut. You just got flashy clothes. You had wiggled your legs and whatever you're going to do. He was. He was a very good move. He would have been a natural dancer had he been trained, because he was a very good mover. He moved well. And I didn't. I was like an elephant in a china shop. But they managed to disguise that.
But of course, it was the age of pop telly. I mean, all those shows. I mean, there was masses of them, weren't there? I mean, was that hard for you to adapt to? coming sort of out from nowhere, really, the TV side of things?
No, it was perfectly natural. It was almost perfectly natural for me. I just didn't like I wasn't very comfortable with the songs. So, until End of Sleep came along, I wasn't very comfortable with. I used to go on the 6-5 special, but 6-5 special TV was a bit like a tea party at Buckingham Palace in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, would you like more sugar in your tea? It was, that was, that's not rock and roll. Rock and roll is a different ball game.
And that was Don Lang pouring the tea, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Don. Don was a great musician, but it wasn't Don. He got the best out of it, I think, in many ways. But Lonnie Donegan did well on the 6-5. That suited Lonnie. That show. It didn't suit me at all. It didn't suit me at all. Was there
sort of comradeship between you guys, or was it competitive? I mean, it's. Americans are known for their sort of helping each other along. We're a bit more combative as a race. Were you up for each other's career, helping each other along?
No, I don't think so.
That's a big no.
You were. I wasn't against anybody. Anybody else. I wasn't against Cliff at all. We used to get on great as guys, but very competitive. I mean, that was one of the natural things. I was brought up that way. I was very, very, very competitive, and I think that most of the young guys were then. But we all got on as people. There's no question of that. And friendships that lasted. Friendships that lasted all these years. So, which is quite something.
And what were the managers like? I mean, those days, were they very dictatorial? I was just thinking of. Elvis and Tom Parker, were they the bosses? Did you do exactly what they said, or what?
Well, I did it originally, but I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have been as subservient as Elvis was, especially around that film situation.
Yeah,
he had every chance to say no. There's no good of him blaming Colonel Tom Parker. He had every chance. He should have just sat down, if need be, in the street and say, "I'm not working, that's it," and go on strike. And Colonel Parker would have had to have done what he was told. But Elvis didn't stand up to him. I stood up to Larry Palms several times over issues, so it wasn't a problem for me. I got on great with Larry because I had gone against him. We did argue. And I did make my stand over situations, but so we got on great, and I still think a lot of Larry. He was like all managers. He was, they make great decisions financially. Normally they can do, for your career, but they can make colossal mistakes, which it's human nature. You can't be right all the time.
Yeah.
But Larry was a very good manager initially for someone to get started, because Larry had all the contacts, rather like Colonel Tom Parker did eventually, and that's what helped Presley, of course.
Well, there's always been stuff about who invented rock and roll, but I mean, rock and roll was an amalgam, was it not, of a lot of things like blues, rockabilly and stuff. I mean, what's your view on it? I mean, was it really invented by the day that Rock Around the Clock got on Blackboard Jungle? Was that the day it came about?
I think maybe it was to the world, but it wasn't to black people in the southern states. They'd been dancing and listening to that kind of style of music for a long time, from probably, I don't know, from maybe 1900s. The blues was probably starting around about then, or I bet it wasn't far off from there. Because it would have started off probably with like black folk songs and then moved on to the blues. And it's an amazing thing, it is. I mean, the blues played such an important part. I mean, the marrying of country music to it was good, because that brought in white folk, and it brought in the countryside, and it mixed us all up in one big jumble. So I mean, Elvis's first blues, which of course got blues country, was That's All Right, which was brilliant, and so the fusion was brilliant when it came off. But also when you listen to some of the early black records, or the ones where the black people were just black people on them. They were stunning records. They really
Yeah.
were. And I remember going to the record shop, and I'd gone to buy Elvis's Hound Dog, and the guy at the store said, he said, have you heard the original? So I said, of what? He said, a Hound Dog. I said, no, it's Elvis, isn't it? He said, no. He said, Hound Dog has been around for a while. It's a blues track. I'll play it to you. Do you want to buy it? So I took it home with me. Mama May Thornton sang it, and Hound Dog, and it was brilliant, but it was different, very, very, very different. And so I learned to buy black records as well as white records, and they've always been a special thing for me. Like for everybody, we're all the same. So, but that was the first time I learned that black people were making a lot of these original songs, and so many of the things that people were doing. Johnny Ray picked up one, Walking in the Rain, I think. Yeah, Walking in the Rain, which I just put on my album. That was a black song, from the Prisoners. So it goes on and on and on, the list of songs that were originally cut by black people.
But of course, the songs coming out of your head, you co-wrote, when I was 15, I was an apprentice hippie and bought Ice in the Sun by Quo. And my hair was I thought it was long. It wasn't at all. Instant hippie. Little did I know that you co-wrote that with Ronnie Scott, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's amazing. And Peter, love me, love my dog. Is that true?
Yeah. Love me, love my dog. Yeah.
Good grief. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a little bit varied. I mean, but I've always been that kind of writer.
Yeah.
I've always mixed the genres quite a lot.
And of course, Kids in America with Kim and all that. But we now come to the new album, which has got a lot on it. And of all the tracks that you've chosen for the single, you're doing a cover of a Police song, which when I looked at the track listings, I thought, that's blooming odd. What's he doing? And of course, I put it on. I think it's wonderful. I don't know what Sting makes of it, but why did you choose that track?
Well, we were trying to get something. I wanted something that had a bit of passion in it, something that was you could grab hold of. And I just took the hook, which was I can't stand losing. And I can imagine this guy, in love and this girl, and I remembered going back in my life, the kind of pain that kind of cat would have been going through. And I thought, right, that's it. It could be good, but we had to change it. So we changed the chords, and I took some of the chords, ironically, from like some of the John Barry, Dr. No, and all those kind of orchestrations. So we took da 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 da. We took da da, that kind of thing,
right?
And it just worked like a gem. It fitted it like a glove. And it's I'm very proud of the record because I love Daryl Hyam, who was on it, and the Enforcers, and it's got like the rockabilly feel, but to a great song. So as I say, I hope Sting likes it.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. And are you still touring with the whatever evolution or edition of the Wildcats? Do they still exist?
Well, I have two. Well, I have the band. I have my own band, which I did a show the other night, and over in the Hunstanton, I did a show, but that's with a kind of a different edge. It's with this rock and roll kind of, but it's just a show with me in it, and it's like a couple of hours of pop. I sang all my songs and everything. But with Daryl Hyam and the Enforcers, it will be a very different thing. It will be rock and roll. It will be rockabilly. Because I'm doing a show. I think it's early next year or at the end of this year. Which will be our first show together as a rockabilly band. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wow! And remind us, Marty, of the album's name. What is it?
We'll Rock This Place.
We rock this place. Rocking after all these years. You don't look a day over 27, mate. I don't know how you're doing it. Whatever you're on, I'd like some in the post, please, Marty Wilde. Thank you so much, and very good luck with the album. And I might come to Hunstanton. You never know.
All right.
Thanks a lot, mate. Steve. Cheers. Bye-bye.
kicks in and the place is buzzing. Just things are starting now. This dance is just what I've been dreaming on. It's where I wanna be. This is where I know that we belong. Yeah, we belong. Come on, let's go tonight. When you're feeling great, celebrate it. You feel like this, elevate it, oh, we're rock this place tonight. Somebody shouts out, when do we stop? But nobody stops and nobody cares, 'cause things are starting now. This place is just what I've been dreaming of. It's where you're feeling great, celebrate it, oh, rock this place tonight. Baby, hold on tight, when you feel like this, elevate it, oh, rock this place tonight. Take it.
You're watching Spectrum on Air. XPTV3.
And welcome back to the Waffle Show with the remains of Steve Blacknell. Now, familiar? James Bond movies, and the man behind the guitar is with us now. Wow, what a life he's had. Mr. Ray Russell. Ray, welcome.
Steve, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, okay. Well, the check's in the post, as they say.
Oh,
so when did it all start for you, Ray? I mean, you've had such a long career. It's crackers. Go back. When was the first time you picked up a guitar and thought, "Oh, I like this feeling"?
Okay, well, I have to admit to, well, I mean, my folks were instrumental in this. I have to say they were great. They got me off the streets when I was about 12, and although the streets were very different then, of course, we lived in North London, and I just loved music, and they bought me an acoustic guitar, and I signed up for this very strange TV show called Carol Levis Jr. Discoveries, which not many people might not know about.
New to me. Yeah.
Okay, well, it did exist very. Oh man, that was a very strange show. I went on and I sung and played, which I can't sing and I couldn't play very well, but I came second or something. Anyway, but I did actually take it seriously. It was the only thing I was really concentrating on, and I managed to achieve one day job before I saw an advert in the Melody Maker, and then although I don't go as far back as Martin, is really interesting to listen to him about the early days, because we we're a few years apart, but I get it, so I totally get it. But then there wasn't iPhones, answer phones, it was all like the newspaper. People used to put their phone numbers in newspapers.
That's right, I remember, yeah.
Right, and a guy called Bob Downs, was tenor player with John Barry 7, advertised Vic Flick's leaving to go to Las Vegas to a show. We're looking for a guitar player, and I thought, my ego said to me, "You're the man for this job." And so I grabbed an album of John Barry's greatest hits, put it on my little dance set record player, which was luckily playing in the right key, which I only realised about 5 years later when it came out in hot sweats. And I learned the tunes. Now, in those times, I couldn't read music, and the two question was, do you know John Barry songs? Can you read music? I replied yes. Anyway, we got to this place, which was a kind of cinema foyer in North London, and plugged in. I came by bus with my guitar and amp. They plugged me in, put a music stand in front of me, and put on the sound the John Barry theme, brackets Dr. No, and I looked at this and very intently looking at it, I played it pretty well, as I've been woodshedding it for a week and the other stuff. And I could see them smiling, and they put Jukebox Jury on, and I played that. And I kind of had reverb on my amp, which is very unusual for this little amp. And so I got the kind of, which is really based on Dwayne Eddy, you know, that a lot of that sound was based
the twang,
on,
wasn't it? A twang.
The twang.
Yeah.
Twang guitar, you know, shivering twang guitar. And I played that and they loved it. And Bob phoned John from the foyer, which wasn't actually enclosed, so people looking in, walking past, very bizarre, and said, oh, this guy's good, we should get him. And they gave me a lift home, and my mum answered the door, and I said, your son, he's really good, can he come on tour on Monday? And she looked at me and, oh no. And I must have had that look, you know, please, you know. Said, yeah, sure. But they're all older than me, you know, Dave Richmond, bass player, the late Ron Edgeworth, Bob Downs, and you know, they're all like 10, 11 years older, and they really looked after me, you know. So I was very lucky to join the band at 18.
With Jukebox Jury, I totally forgot about that, but that's not you playing da-da-ba-dum.
No,
that's not you, surely.
No, that's Vic. He did all the...
That was Dick Flick, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, again, that goes back, you know, to things like 6-5 Special, that goes back,
sure,
you know, another 8-9 years.
Yeah. So you're out suddenly from nowhere, you're out on the road with the John Barry 7.
Yeah.
Are you a frightened Mr. Russell? Or were you taking it in your stride? Or what?
I think it could go both ways. I mean, after that, I've been in bands where I'm really glad I had the grounding with those guys, because they were very good to me and looked after me, because I didn't know anything, you know. And but soon learned what it means. I think I grew up in 2 years.
Yeah. Nothing beats live, I guess.
No. It was fantastic. It was fantastic for me. But you know, the one thing you learn is you anything you want to do, you woodshed it, and you keep on practicing until you get it right. And that way, you know, you get asked.
So with John Barry 7, then you're obviously in the background as a newcomer, I guess. And I suppose, really, like, we'll be talking to Clem in a minute, Clem Cattini. The session guys, it's the life of the session man. It's, as I often say, you know, they took the fee but not the credit. It's a very strange life, isn't it, right?
I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, I loved it, you know. I thought it was great. I mean, we were working 12, 14 hours a day. And, you know, I mean, at the time, there was over 300 studios in London, all working quite a lot. I think there's about 6 now. But, you know, remember, it's before, you know, things like Logic, you know, before computers and or things you could, you know, write music with. So every singer-songwriter, which was really the age of, had to have a band. Right. So, you know, I mean, you get to know people every time you do a session, you network, and then other people may say, how about using Ray for this, you know? And I did a lot of funky tracks, and but also, of course, you know, later on with Tina, and you know, and started to do that with Heaven, you know, the albums of Heaven 17, and you know, a lot of people. I mean, we were, yeah. I mean, I worked a lot with Clem, but when that started, it was like a, you know, it was like a ball. I mean, rolling. It just gathered momentum, and suddenly you were out. You'd say goodbye to your first wife, you know. And
yes.
You were out, and you go back at the weekend. And,
yes.
couldn't get in. No, it was no, I'm kidding.
No, I
But
don't.
no, I mean, it was just you didn't have a social life. I mean, your social life was in the studio. You spent more time with the guys. I mean, there were teams of musicians. There was like a kind of band, and you know, like A teams, B teams. People that would ask for first call, and there would be, you know, if you can't get him, or you know, mainly, unfortunately, male dominated. Could have done with definitely more, you know, female, but that was the way it was, unfortunately. And I used to have 3 sets of gear, and the roadie would take other guys' gear and put in the studio for the next session, collect the first, next, and if it was a little bit out of town, he would take the 3rd set of gear. So all I had was I used to have a guitar on me, and that was it. I mean, we were actually so busy. I mean, I'll give you an example of what it was like. I did a thing for one of the at 8 o'clock in the morning, the jingle. There was a punk version of "I Did It My Way."
Right.
10 o'clock, I did 2 sessions with Andy Williams on acoustic guitar.
As you do, yep.
As you do. White Days of Wine and Roses. 7 o'clock, I went to Ronnie Scott's and played with the Gil Evans Orchestra, which we were doing 2 weeks. Left there about 2 o'clock in the morning, went straight to CBS to see Greg and Tina, and we did Let's Stay Together.
That's astonishing. I mean,
that was the best day, you know.
Yeah.
It was always like that, you know. It was always so busy.
but had the work with John Barry 7, had that given you notoriety, as it were, within the session world? Did that set you up for all this work?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a bit of changing of the guard, you know. The session thing was changed because, you know, there was a lot of more rocky things and, you know, funky things. It was all changing. So, you know, I sort of came in and a lot of, you know, I didn't come from the world of, you know, more like dance bands and stuff. And sorry, I don't mean that in any derogatory way, because, you know, those guys like Vic, they could read anything. And at the time they were doing stuff, you just had to read the part. You know, the time I was coming in, there was a guy probably playing, you know, some chords to us and saying, this is a song, and us, you know, writing down those, and you give your own kind of performance of it with everybody. You kind of play for the song, you get as best as you can, and then you have, for some reason, strangely, the MU thought we could do everything in 3 hours. So we used to have 3-hour sessions and do, you know, the song and maybe the B-side.
And that was it. But did you have to be, was likability a big factor, or was it just like a machine? I mean, did you have to get on with the people? Well, to be liked, ability is one thing, likability is huge, isn't it?
Demonstrative, yeah. No, we you know, I mean, yeah, we all got on together very well. I mean, there was, you know, just a few. I mean, you don't take yourself too seriously, but you do when the light goes on, you know, you go for it.
Yeah,
because that's like, you know, you do it like there's no tomorrow, and you do it, and then you give your best performance. But no, everybody was really good, and we were all friends. But remember, that was our social life too.
Yeah,
you know, there was no other social life. Maybe going out to dinner occasionally, and you know, a weekend off. I mean, I do know somebody. I can't remember. I can't divulge their name. They wouldn't want me to, but they invented a studio, and when they wanted a day off, they used to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the studio," and everyone believed them, so they could have a day off.
I mean, forfeiting money to have a day off, incredible.
Well, that was, you know, that was a business.
Yeah, isn't it?
Well, I mean, like, you know, I remember doing an album with Frankie Miller, and you know, that was. Sorry. You know what? I've forgotten the producer's name. He just recently died.
Frankie Miller's producer. Well, I was his plugger for years. I should know.
You know, the guy Jack Douglas. Jack Douglas.
Jack Douglas, correct. Who did Lennon as well. Yeah.
Poor old Jack Douglas. I mean, he owned the record plant, and we were doing this album for Christmas in their studios, which is like kind of my favourite studio. And he said to us all on Friday, "Do you want to go to New York to
to do the rest of the record, and everybody was working, but I was like, I thought, yeah, I want to do this. I said, yeah, and they sent the secretary from Chrysalis down to the American Embassy and got me a visa, and on Sunday I was on Virgin, you know, going to New York, and we did a week at the record plant. Yeah, things like that happen, which is just surreal but wonderful.
Incredible. I mean, but our dear departed friend, I know, very close, Mo Foster, would have stories upon stories about those days. But like Mo, I mean, I'm not a jazz inclined person, but Mo's music I got into. But of course, you're into jazz, as it were. But these days, you're very much jazz inclined, aren't you?
Well, I mean, the guitar is really a common denominator of music. You know, to me, it's, you know, people say, oh, it's a folk instrument, you know, and in a way, although we kind of all plug up to the system, we don't want power cuts and things, but you know, it is. I mean, you can play it anywhere. And I mean, when I was doing my stage job, I met a guy that was listening to West Coast jazz, and I listened to a lot of that, and that turned me on to a lot of improvising, which you know, and people were playing shapes on guitar I didn't know. So I was always into two worlds. You know, I was doing, you know, a tour. Well, I tell you what was great for me. I did a tour I was joining the Georgie Fame band after, in fact, John McLaughlin got me the gig because he was going to play a Miles Davis. And he said, do you want to join Georgie's band? I said, I'd love to. And of course, in that band, they were like guys playing R&B, you know. Like R&B. And I played with Mike Butterfield Blues Band. And
good grief.
We used to play on rehearsals and stuff, and, you know, during the tour. And we all used to jam all the time. And I learned so much about R&B and the connection, as Marty was saying, you know, it goes back to, you know, black music, and it goes back to, you know, the blues and R&B and a bit of country, and it all came together, and we were playing that stuff, and I learned a lot about changes. And yeah, I started doing Ronnie Scott soul plays, and like the late set, and with an organ trio, and things developed from there. In fact, a guy called David Howells, an A&R guy, I don't know if you... I
know David, Gold Records.
Right, David Howells used to work at CBS.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Right, and this is something you never hear anyone say. He phoned me up one and they said, he said, I got your name and I've heard I've heard a few things you've done. I really like it. We're forming a jazz record label, and I wondered if you'd like to make an album.
And you said?
I said, no, I couldn't possibly. No, I said, great. And I did 3 or 4 albums for them, and which actually Cherry Red re-released, and an album's called Rock Workshop, which was like a big 12-piece band, and Cherry Red have re-released those, which are great. They were great. They were like a real fusion band of, you know, rock, jazz. I mean, everyone, you know, it used to go anywhere. We used to sing the song. Alex Harvey was in the band,
right? Yeah.
And we used to sing the song, and then suddenly someone would play, and where that went, that was like open. So it was really interesting. So he gave me my first start making sort of jazz records, really.
But you've got a new record on the way, Ray. I mean, every musician says, I've got a new album coming. So when will we have a new Ray Russell album?
Well, not till September, but right. As I say, it's on Cuneiform. They release a lot of very interesting stuff. It's kind of musician's label, but it gets everywhere. And I'm actually, although of course I would say this, but I am actually really pleased with it. And I got Greg Walsh to produce it, so it's an actually produced jazz fusion record, which is a little bit unheard of these days. But
well, you're turning my musical taste, Ray. I'm gradually tuning into the jazz. But
I'll sell you a copy.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Yeah, double the price. Ray Russell, bless you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure, Steve. Thanks for asking me.
You're watching Spectrum on Air. XPTV3.
Welcome back to the Waffle Show with me, Steve Blacknell. Now, when I was about 10 years old, I was born in 52, 61 too, I heard a song on the radio, Telstar, by this mysterious band called the Tornadoes. And as I remember it, my dad gave me 6 and 8pence and we went down to the local shop in Dartford and bought it. The joy, sheer joy. And I can't believe now I'm saying hello to one of the Tornadoes, the legend that is Clem Cattini. Clem, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now, pre the Tornadoes, of course, you'd had success before. Johnny Kidd and the Pirates and so much stuff. How did all that, as they say, come about?
Oh God, it's a long memory, to be honest. I only started playing drums because 2 of my mates who played guitar decided to form a rock and roll band, and I said, yeah, what do I play? They said, you play drums. So I did. Seriously. I mean, that's
and that was it.
And that was it. You know. Wow. And I used to work in my dad's cafe.
Yeah.
And I used to hate every second of it. When I had a chance to get out, I went on the road. I became a pro musician, I should say.
And Live with the Tornadoes, that was a very, very different sound, wasn't it? Because Joe Meek was into space travel and all sorts of stuff, wasn't he?
Well, let's put it this way. Joe was he was a musical moron, but a sound genius.
Very
He's
good.
An absolute genius. I mean, stuff, to see, to believe what he recorded on and the sounds he got out of his studio is unbelievable. I've tried to record Telstar since and can't even get near sounds that Joe, all the modern equipment.
Wow.
Can't even get close to it. So
and it really was a small, was it a room or a studio?
It was his bedroom. It was a bedroom.
It was a bedroom.
It was the kitchen of the flat. You know, I used to be standing in the toilet, dropping marbles into the toilet bowl so he could record it.
No.
Things like that. Seriously.
Wow. But it was very acidic. It was like almost 7 years ahead of psychedelia. I remember the Ice Cream Man and the effects on boom. But it was but some reason, Clem, it still stands up now. Why is that? Why?
I just think because I mean it's a good tune, isn't it? I suppose, you know, as well. It's quite a pleasant tune, and also I think it's different. You know, because at that time, remember, everybody was guitar mad, weren't they?
Yeah.
Every song you got was guitar, and we came in with an organ. You know, I think it made a difference in the actual main sound. I think possibly. I've got to be honest, it wasn't the best period of my career, to be honest, but you know, it got me some places.
And were there drummers that you aspired to? I mean, like, I don't know, were there drummers that I'd love to be as good as that?
Oh, like Brian Bennett was always I was always a fan of Brian Bennett, you know, because very fine drummer. And I saw Marty's compliment to me, and I'd like to return the compliment, because I was with Billy Fury at the time. Wow. And Marty, we used to tour together, so I did loads of tours when I was with Billy with Marty. A lovely guy, Marty, never changed, hasn't changed one bit. With all his hits, never changed. He's still the same nice guy that he was then.
Yeah.
Unless you call him Reggie.
Unless you called him Reg, yeah.
He'd go posse.
But the album's an amazing album. I'm just blown away by it.
Fantastic, yeah.
Incredible. So after the Tornadoes then, there is a gap then into becoming the session guy that you become so successfly. What happened in those years?
Well, to be honest, it got a nightmare with Joe, because Joe was going out of his head, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
And really, I don't mean that nastily, but he was. You know, they say genius is bordering on madness, don't they? You know.
Yeah.
And I'd had enough. The band kept on changing every 5 minutes. I was getting a new guitar player, then a new bass player. Well, we never had a bass player in the first place, but I won't go into that.
Wasn't Hines the bass player?
Well, I don't know, was he?
I thought he was.
Yeah. So did most people, unless you were in the band.
Right. Well, of course, Heinz died at 57, which is a very odd. We can't advertise on the show, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, some variety, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, but something like that. Yeah, something like
beans,
that. Yeah, that's right. So, so when you'd had enough of Joe Meek, or it was what happened to you?
I just went down Denmark Street and sat in a place called the Jaconda, which is a coffee bar next to all the little studios are there. People are coming and say, "You free? Can you come and do a session? I need to do a demo for a song." So I go for £6 and do a demo. Wow. And then suddenly I've got phone calls. "Did you do the demo for this song and that song?" And I went, "Yes." And they said, "Well, could you come and do the master?" It was like Cliff's Devil Women. I did the demo of that, and then they asked me to do the main, the actual record. That's how it started. And suddenly, I suppose, I've got a sort of reputation.
Well, I guess like Ray, I suppose, a reputation, and one of my favourite words, likability. Good to work with, not a problem, always turns up on time, blah, blah, blah.
That was reliability. Reliability was the thing. You had to be reliable,
Yeah.
Because in those days, studio time was at fortune. You're looking at £300 an hour to hire studios.
Wow.
And, and if you went over half an hour overtime, they weren't very happy, because another £250 out to pay out because you were late and they weren't happy.
Right. Well, I've got to say something. I've done a bit of research, like you do, and I saw You Really Got Me, the Kinks. But now, so hang on. So Mick Avery surely was in the Kinks, but so did you do the demo or what?
No. I did an album. With the Kinks called Kinks Controversy. I actually played on that album.
Right.
And we actually recorded You Really Got Me as well, which I don't think ever came out. Mick Avery did the originals. No, he didn't. It was a guy called Bobby Graham did the original. You Really Got Me.
Wow, so it's quite convoluted. Who did what?
Mick Avery did the original record of I Really Got You Really Got. No, let's start again. It was Bobby Graham that did the original of Really Got Me.
Yeah.
And I did an album called Kinks Controversy with the Kinks.
But back then, I suppose, I mean, the Monkees and bands like that would come along later who didn't play on the records, or supposedly. But was that rife at the time? Bands not playing.
Bay City Rollers. I did the Bay City Rollers.
Right.
There's another band, I don't know if you remember, a band called Kelly, the Bump.
Which one?
The Bump.
What they called?
The band was called Kenny.
Yes, I do.
But we got to number one.
The Bump.
It wasn't even a band. When we recorded The Bump, the band didn't even exist. The record started to get in the charts, and then they formed a band called the Kenny. You point out on the roads, the Kenny with because they had the hit with Bump.
Yeah, they were on Bell, I think. They were on Bell.
Session, man.
Yeah, they were on Bell Records along with the Rollers. I remember them well. Yeah. So that thing sort of became popular. You had bands like the Archies later on who they were a cartoon. I mean, ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everlasting Love, another one.
What, they didn't play on that?
No, I was on that. It was an orchestra.
Yes.
A great little singer, actually, the kid was.
Oh, Ellis, Steve Ellis.
Steve Ellis was a great little kid, singer. Great singer.
He's still around, I think. Lives in Brighton.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Yes. One of my favourite, Rainbow Valley's one of my favourite ever singles. I mean, that was wonderful stuff.
Yeah. Mersey's another one. I did the Mersey's thing. Sorrow, I did that.
Sorrow?
Yeah.
So did you work with Johnny Gustafson at all?
Oh, yeah. I worked with John, quite a lot.
Did you?
Mates with John, till he passed away, of course.
Well, he's one of my best mates, John.
Yeah, lovely guy. Lovely guy.
He's worked with Roxy Music, and that bass line with Love Is a Drug, do you remember?
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah. So, but at the time, so you're in demand, right. But are you having pangs of, I've had enough of this, I'd like to be up there in the front, or are you just happy to sit back at the back?
To be honest, I mean, I could have been that way with the Tornadoes. I could have been, for want of a better word, a star, if you like. Which I wasn't interested. I wanted to play drums. I mean, that's why I played drums. I sat at the back, nobody noticed me.
Yeah.
There was an article in the paper, actually, they said, who's the quietest drummer in the world? And it was me.
Was it you?
Everybody heard me, but they didn't know who I was, And thankfully not.
I'll tell you a very weird thing that happened. Talking to name dropper Kenny Jones and Johnny Coughlin of Crow and the Faces.
Yeah.
But if you look at Top of the Pops back those days, Kenny's drum was right up at the front. And the same with Johnny Coughlin, that was right at the front with the band behind them. So that was strange. I mean, why was that happening? Any idea?
I suppose they wanted to be up front, but I wanted to be at the back to keep out of the way.
Yeah.
And another thing, any missiles that came on stage, you never got them.
but aside from the session work at these times, then we're talking, I guess, they call it the engine room, if that's right.
Yeah.
But so you were part of all this, but so no aspirations to joining another band, just happy session after session.
Yeah, I've been on the road. I mean, I could have. I don't know the Zeppelin story. I was up for the job in Zeppelin.
No.
I was.
Get out.
Guy, the manager, what's his name?
Peter Grant
phoned me up and said, I want to take you out to lunch. I've got a project I'm putting together. Because I'd worked with Jimmy Page. I've worked with John Paul Jones. I've worked with John Paul Jones on Hurdy-Gurdy Man with the Donovan thing.
Yeah, they were session guys, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, and they were forming this band. They wanted me on drums. But I've got to be very honest, I wasn't right for Zeppelin anyway. I'm not that type of player. I'm not an Olympic player.
So, Clem, have you ever looked back and thought, I wish I'd taken that Led Zeppelin job?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not. I wasn't right for it anyway. I mean, I'm Ray would attest to that.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of drummer, No. I've been on the road. I was at home. I've been on the road for ages. It was nice to be at home with the missus once,
Yeah, playing. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Being drowned out for once, I suppose. But yeah. Right out of the thin air, Clem. Can you think of a couple of performances or occasions that you can think? Oh yeah, now that's really a treasure. Can you think of one?
Yeah, there was on Top of the Pops with Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Oh,
the last train to, is it whatever?
Georgia.
George, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Sensational. Sitting there with the cans on, listening to that voice.
That must have been absolutely amazing. And did anyone else spring to mind?
Yeah, Michael Jackson. One of the Jackson 5.
Oh my life!
They did that as well. That was quite an affair because their drummer wanted to play on the record, and they weren't allowed to because of union rules at the time. We had these silly rules. If an American came over, they couldn't play. If we were over there, you remember? Yeah. So I had to play, and he bugged me all day long. And in the end, Michael came up and told him to get out of the studio. And I'll give them their due. I've got to say this. The American artists were always so grateful. The British artists, we were the worst band in the world.
Really?
But the Americans loved us. Yeah.
Amazing, Clem. Well, yeah, I tell you, you've got to do a movie about you one day or something. But for now, Clem Cattini, I'm just going to say, bless you. Thank you for Telstar, and thank you to my dad for that 6 and 8pence because it changed my life, mate. Right?
Do you want the money back?
Oh no, not at all. You keep it.
You're watching Spectrum on Air. XPTV3.
Hello, Steve Blacknell here, and I've finally written me memoirs, Tales from the Bedroom Wall. It's all about meeting your musical heroes, losing millions, Hollywood heartbreak, from my first love, Kate Bush, to Mr. Phil Collins and Concord. Addictions, rock and roll madness, I tell you, and the fact that anyone can be an idiot if they try hard enough. It's available now on Amazon and at all good bookshops. And of all the books out this year, I can guarantee this is going to be one of them. Hello.
Hi, and welcome to that time of the week when the stars come out to play and waffle away to the main man, the top banana, the big kahuna, the waffle meister himself, Mr. Steve Blacknell.
Yes, indeed, I'm Steve Blacknell. Welcome to the Waffle Show, a brand new show.
Hello. Hello, greetings.
We did what is regarded, I understand, as everyone's favourite sketch when Neil dropped some LSD into my tea. Do you remember?
The other week.
Hi, Steve.
Hi there, mate. So when did you first learn you were going to be Marty Wilde? Were you shocked?
It was a bit like Elton John and Ancliffe. Marty Wilde doesn't know a crotchet from a hatchet.
I was ogling at the TV screen, my jaw dropping.
I've got this little Kodak Instamatic which I've still got.
I'm Steve Blacknell, and welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Welcome the other John Altman. Well, a couple of years ago, well, more than a few years ago, and I've worked with some people in my time, but I've never, ever, and I'm sure you must have got fed up with Say Ma. Go on, Say Ma. So when you went solo, remind me. So, first up.
Obviously, you know, you're 86.
And he even managed to take the mick to make fun of royalty as well, and got away with it.
Oh, little grovelling bastard.
And welcome back to the Waffle Show. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, maybe it's, we shouldn't go into it.
Celebrity. We'll be able to pronounce that when you meet him. Celebrant, I believe it is. Russ, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's celebrant.
And yeah, I eventually got it right. Okay, welcome back. Now to someone who was born, he says, at an early age.
Dee, Mr. Blacknell.
Hello there, sir. How are you?
Terrified until I met you. How unfortunate.
Let me explain what a celebrant is, because as you managed to mispronounce it so many times, people are quite confused. Cannot legally say the words, I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Blacknell. I can't do that. That's, there's nothing. It's just, I can do everything else, but you're not under UK law legally married. Just ask Jerry Hall how she feels about that.
It was all just stick and answer, and I just went like that.
So, gents, thanks so much for coming on the Waffle Show. So, Ray, what's next for you in your busy diary?
Well, I'm on the way to finishing my album, which is called Dangerous Bends, and it's out on Cuneiform Records beginning of September, and you can get it on CD and Bandcamp.
More plugs than the electricity shop there. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Absolutely right. And
right.
Mr. Cattini, what for you?
I retired gracefully, and I say I haven't hit a note in violence for 2 years now, so I'm retired. Put my feet up.
The world will miss you, Clem. But anyway,
thank you very much. I miss the world as well.
And Marty, of course, you've got yet this album and the single to promote, I guess.
I have, yes, I have. Yep, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think I love it too, and I think it's going to go down really well. Yet another album from the gentleman who's Marty Wilde. Gents, thanks so much indeed. Thanks for being on the Waffle Show. I hope you've enjoyed it. And just a quick note to all the production staff, the designers, the makeup people, and everyone who's put the show together. Thank you, both of you. Until next time, when we are going to have more waffling on the Waffle Show, Steve Blacknell saying, ta-ra for now, and keep waffling.